This recording has been done on the 29th of December, 11:04 a.m. at US Pacific Time. He's a longtime Animemes shitposter, the creator of the daily Ilya memes and the semi-daily 02 memes. Nowadays, you're more likely to find his Prisma magic in the Grand Order subreddit. Please, introduce yourself to our readers.
Well, hello. I'm TheFlintASteel, or sometimes some people know me as Scott. And well, I think you introduced me well enough. I mostly make memes, and well, I am kind of well known for my lolly memes or Ilya memes, or perhaps some people might remember me for my trap memes. But I mostly hang out, as you said, in our Animemes and our Grand Order.
Welcome to the interview, Flint. Now, I gotta start with the usual. Your taste in anime. How'd you start, and how has your taste changed since then?
I actually started like rather recently, all things considered, because I only started like maybe 2 years back.
Oh,
Basically, I was playing Dota before that, and I wasn't really happy with how stuff was going. So I kind of started watching anime because I saw my sister watching it once, and I kind of, joined along. She was watching Attack on Titan, I believe, and I kind of
oh.
binged it in one day, and there it kind of began.
You binged the entire season in one day.
Yeah, maybe not the entire. I think it was like 20 episodes. It was pretty, you know, quite a
Oh,
feat.
so how'd you get into Fate?
Um, Actually, I used to hang out in the R anime subreddit a lot, and I would just, you know, um, check the subreddit, see what's going on, and they had a Fate rewatch planned, and I
Ah,
was like, oh, okay, a rewatch. So I was like, I'll join along. I never did anything like that before, and I decided that it would be best to enjoy it with some other people. So I started watching, and I didn't understand anything at all because that's just Fate.
yeah, yeah.
So like every time I'd have this like in the thread, I'd have this like a blog. It was just basically me asking questions and not understanding anything. And there were some really kind people who helped me get into it. I want to give a shout out to Anorak. He basically was one of the two people with Nick Knight, I believe. Eight. They organized the rewatch, and I really want to thank them because that was an amazing experience for sure.
Mm. But I mean, like, specifically of how you became known as the Ilya shit poster. Like, was it after you started watching Prisma Ilya, or from one of the other shows?
Oh, actually, I haven't watched Prisma Ilia for a long time. I haven't watched it for like 6 months or something after starting my Ilia memes. Uh,
Oh,
I know that's quite a surprise. I still memed it, but
well,
I
hold on.
basically
So,
just
so you didn't see much of the show, but you memed it anyways. Actually, that's
yeah,
most of our
that's
users.
what I do. I also did that for JoJo's, but then I caught up with JoJo's. Well, basically, the story with Ilya is I was just making some memes, and at the time I was watching Fate. So I made some Ilya memes, and people seemed to really enjoy it and associate me with it. So I was like, guess I'll make more Ilya memes. And then it just kind of snowballed from there, into daily Ilya memes, into flare shit posting, stuff like that.
So the idea of daily Ilya memes just came from the positive reception of your first few?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I like when people like my stuff and when they, view the memes up. So feedback is always appreciated. And when I saw that people really enjoyed them, I just made more, right?
Eh, it makes sense. That reminds me though, how did you come across our animemes?
Uh, I actually hanged out in this one place on our anime. It's called Free Talk Friday. Nowadays, it's renamed to something like Casual Discussion. And they sometimes linked it there, and I would just, check it out, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then I'd leave it be there because I don't know, I was like not interested at the time. I didn't really view memes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then sometimes when I was in school and I had all my stuff finished, I would just look at the subreddit for fun because I couldn't do anything else at school really. No, nothing that requires longer time commitment. So I would just view it doing hours and stuff. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try making my own memes. And so did I. My second ever meme was actually an Ilya meme. First one was something different.
Ah, I see, I see. Um, so your username, TheFlintASteel, what does that actually mean?
Oh god, that's a cringy story. Okay.
I mean, if you don't want to talk about it,
No, I'll say it, all right? It's a cringy story, and that's why nowadays I prefer to go by Kaev, you know?
okay,
Basically, back in the day, I used to play Minecraft. That's all the kids used to at
okay,
some point, right?
yeah,
Right? Uh, and we were like joining this new server, and I wanted to make like a griefer account, but eventually I just got too bored to make another account, so I just started using that. But that was originally just FlintASteel. As I was young and forgot my email to the account, I just had to come up with a different one. So I came up with TheFlintASteel. You know, so it's a very bad story. I know. That's why I'm not too fond of it.
wait, that's the whole story?
Yeah. What did you expect? You know, we were supposed to like threaten people to burn their houses in Minecraft. So I was like, okay, I need to have the name like Flint and Steel, but I misspelled it, you know? So yeah, because end is basically set A in my language. Yeah, that's the story. What did you expect?
That not Minecraft. uh, God, I lost my train of thought.
Well,
Everything I've written now doesn't really work anymore. Okay, whatever. Okay, so back to
oh, this is amazing.
Moving on. Let's talk about the big moment in your Reddit life. On April 17, 2017, you were banned for Reddit for, if I'm right, the Ilya memes and how they skirted the line on Reddit's loli stance. During this time, you
Yeah.
partnered up with another user who uploaded your memes for you while you were appealing for the unbanning of your account. On May
Yeah.
30, 2018, your account was finally freed, and you decide to celebrate by posting another Ilya meme. How was your experience with these inconvenient circumstances?
Well, just to clear stuff up, I wasn't actually banned for alien memes in general. I was banned for one particular meme, and the meme got like 7 upvotes, so it was a total bust. And there was just a really bad pun about caves and Bear Grylls. So
Wait,
I can
what?
show that. Yeah,
Seriously? Seriously?
yeah, dude.
It had nothing to do with all of your more questionable stuff. It had to do with Bear Grylls, really?
Yeah, it was a Bear Grylls Ilya meme, you know, caves. That's
Wait, oh.
it was a really bad meme. It didn't work out, but I got banned for it. Actually, you know, the night before I was like, am I gonna get banned for this? Because I was like thinking when I was posting it, because I have some memes that I never actually posted because they were too loose. And I was like, nah, I won't get banned for this. This is just some mediocre level shit. But I actually did.
Oh.
So, well, after I got banned, I got some really nice feedback. I had a bunch of my friends, you know, Lord Spookward was one of the people that helped me out back then, you know, get the word out that I was banned.
Yeah.
And then I was approached by a bunch of people saying that they really, you know, enjoyed the 02 memes, and it would be a shame if they were discontinued. So I was mostly approached by Double Friss. I don't know how it's pronounced. There are some numbers after the name, but he was basically the guy that kept posting the memes after I was banned. You know, I would give them to him, and he'd do the work. He was a really cool guy.
Weren't there like issues with Reddit's rules because you had someone else post your memes?
Not really. I didn't claim anything for the memes. You know, basically, it wasn't my content anymore. You could say, like, technically they're mine, but somebody else posts them. Somebody else receives all the upvotes. Like, I have nothing to do with their accounts. Basically, it's just completely. I'm just sending the memes via Discord, so it's like completely normal. It's basically the same stuff as reposting memes you find on different websites. You know.
Okay.
So not really. However, the whole progress of getting myself unbanned, that was really painful.
Ooh.
Like, I was, because I don't know, I didn't get responses for so long. The system is very badly designed, I'd say. Like, in my opinion, from like, I sent a very nice appeal, and
Yeah.
I got an automated response saying that I have to structure it properly. But the thing is, I structured it properly, so I was like, huh. So then I waited like a week,
Yeah.
nothing was going on. So I resent it, and it said it sent the same response back. And back then I was like, okay, this is some kind of prevention so that little kids don't go screaming their accounts get banned.
Yeah.
And I actually just resent the same thing over with saying that, like, hey, sorry, if you're reading this twice, that's my bad because I didn't know what to do. And it took like some 3 weeks or something to respond, like to get a response. The entire progress took like over a month, I believe. I was off. I reread the entire community guidelines back then and stuff like that.
Ooh. Oh wait, they have community guidelines?
Dude, they have a bunch of guidelines. Like, there are so many guidelines. There are like community guidelines, user guidelines, all sorts. Like, I don't know. I don't remember it anymore, of course, but just some parts of it.
Huh. Well, I mean, we are definitely glad you're back. But so I'm assuming you finally got to an actual like administrator or something.
Yeah, I got a response from a guy, and he was very chill about it. Basically, he just said that, okay, don't do it next time, thank you. And was a really chill guy, I suppose. They have a lot of workload on their back, I believe.
Yeah, I would assume so, considering this is like a website with I don't know how many users and not that many people actually working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me though. When you mentioned 02 memes, did you actually see the show?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, but I mean, because like you said how you started the Ilia memes before you saw Prisma Ilia.
But I saw her like in Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. I just didn't see the Prisma Elia series for a long time.
Okay. So looking through your history, I've noticed that roughly 6 months ago, you began posting more in our Grand Order than in our Animemes, and nowadays, most of your posting seems to be in Grand Order. I'm assuming this is because of your time spent in the mobile gacha game Fate Grand Order?
There are a couple of reasons, actually. There are definitely a bunch of reasons. Well, first of all, yes, I've been getting more and more into Fate franchise, and I spend a lot of time posting in the Fate Grand Order subreddit, mostly because Fate memes never did well at any point in our Animemes, So if I want to make Fate memes, I need to actually just post them elsewhere. And however, I wouldn't say that is the only reason necessarily. Another thing is kind of that our Animemes community has really grown over the time, and it's no longer the super inclusive community it used to be like a year back,
Yeah.
when basically you had content creators, and people knew about people who posted memes and stuff like that, and it wasn't just random stuff and that sort of thing. So I actually really appreciate the feeling of inclusivity that I kind of feel within the our Grand Order subreddit. I am not saying that the thing that our Animemes has grown so much is bad. No, I think that's actually amazing. I just think it makes the content very general, focused on the general appeal of it. And you can no longer make some very specific jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do share the same feeling. In the past 6 months, this community has grown by 200,000 people which, that definitely means that a lot of them aren't used to the old jokes. They bring in their own jokes, and I mean, it is good, like you said, but at the same time, just as he said, it does feel very different from how it used to be.
Definitely.
So back to Grand Order though. Do you play NA or JP?
I play both, dude.
Oh boy. I mean, I got both installed, but I just play JP. I can't stand playing the same gacha game twice. Jesus. How's your gacha luck though? Do you at least have Ilya?
I actually have Ilya MP4 on NA. On JP, I didn't get her. You know, I rolled for Citon. I rolled all the stuff I had. I saved up like 360 quartz or something. I did over 150 rolls, I think. I didn't get her there. On NA, I was more lucky. I got MP4 Ilya, but on NA, I've been saving up for like basically 9 months or something.
So if Citona goes on to the, she's a 5-star, right? An SSR.
Yeah.
So if she goes on to the guaranteed paid gacha, will you be spending a little bit of cash?
I mean, I actually always rolled the guaranteed gacha. I feel like it's a great deal, especially now that they made it 15 quartz on J. It's like just, you know, you get something that you're happy with for like a sum of maybe $20, I'd say. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, twice a year, it's not awfully a lot. You know, I force myself not to spend outside of that because that would be excessive. I feel like the deals for quartz are actually very bad in this. Like, you don't get much value even if you spend like $100, whereas in other games you would get like so much value out of $100, you know.
Yeah.
So I mostly just really spend on the guaranteed gachas.
I mean, that is the smartest decision, and it's probably the way of how they get money out of people that normally would not be spending money on a free-to-play game.
Yeah, it's definitely great for both sides, you know. It's great for them and great for the people because they want some SSR.
Yeah. But sometimes we don't get the SSRs we want. Like, Ishtar is still not in my game. I spent a lot of money. Actually, $45 total. We don't talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. If it makes you feel any better, you know, when I rolled the guaranteed gacha on NA, I got meta. You know, how is it even pronounced? I think it's Mea in Japanese or something like. You know, Queen of Connect.
Are you talking about the pink hair one with the whip?
Yeah. Her, I got her.
I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's so weird.
So continuing on the Grand Order thing, I want to talk about two specific posts, both of your most scientific ones. First, the in-depth thigh comparison.
Yeah.
Between Tosukarin and Ryder. What brought upon that idea?
Yeah, you know, it was my birthday at that time, actually. I just had a lot of time on my hands. I was like, I want to make a shit post, but I want to make it really sophisticated. Also, this one guy, basically, he really liked Ryder, so I was like, I'm gonna compare Ryder and Rin. Just why not? So I spent like 5 hours making this. It was really fun.
Oh my god! But I mean, the thing is, though, normally I wouldn't be mentioning this specific post because normally, if it's something about Rin's size or something, it'd be about the sexual gratification. But the deeper I read into it, it looked more like it was cannibalism. Is it care to explain?
Yeah, basically I was like, okay, I need to make this objective so that people just don't say like, I basically want to shit. So I was like, okay, I need to make this objective. So I just was like, how to compare meat quality. You know, in hindsight, it probably wasn't the best idea.
No, I think it makes it immortal.
I actually linked to the source, you know, at the bottom as well. It was...
Oh my god. Getting for themes, meat quality _ meat. Jesus Christ. But wait, hold on. So, I mean, it's been a while since I read this, but this means that you prefer lean meats? Because if we go to like something like steak, the most valuable stuff has a bit of fat as marbling. So, yeah, I'm just not gonna continue there until someone calls me cops on my cannibalistic tendencies.
Yeah, makes sense.
Your next scientific one is, I think you already know this one, the hair comparison between Ereshkigal and Ishtar. What brought that idea?
Basically, I want continue the series, you know. Because I received a lot of great feedback back on that meme, but I felt like it shouldn't be something I do a lot. Also, it's really like takes a lot of time. Like that one took 5 hours, but this one took like maybe even like an entire day of research. Because, you know, I actually had to read up on the mythology and stuff. And then I had to, you know, like first I was like, okay, I'm going to compare some, but it needs to be really, really stupid. Something that nobody would even think about comparing, you know? So it's like, yeah. And I saw this picture of Ereshkigal, like, covering herself with her hair. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna compare hair smells. But then I was like, no, I'm actually going to compare what feels better to smell, which hair, you know? Like, whose hair is objectively better to smell? That's why it's structured in so deeply. Like, it's called in-depth analysis on whose hair is objectively nicer to smell. Ereshkigal versus Ish.
Jesus Christ. God, I lost my train of thought again. So you actually studied the mythology of these two goddesses for a shitpost on our Grand Order, in which case most of us have no idea about anything about mythology.
I actually really like mythology and history. I really like that aspect of fate. You know, it kind of brings the mythological characters into life. I always enjoyed Greek mythology. And so I was like, it's actually, you know, quite useful for me as well. You know, it's not like a complete. So I read basically Mesopotamian mythology. I just found out it's really, really weird. It's some of the weirdest things ever. Like, I'm not sure if you read the Common Thunder, but there are some, I like fine-picked some points that are just weird. I can read them out if you want.
Please do.
Yeah, a few interesting exempts from the Mesopotamian mythology. The cult of Inanna Ishtar, which may have been associated with a variety of sexual rites, including homosexual transvestite priests and sacred prostitution, was continued by East Semitic-speaking people who succeeded the Sumerians in the religion. That's the first one. You know, I never thought prostitution could be sacred, but apparently that's the case.
Wait, so
apparently,
like, are these like ordained prostitutes?
I don't know, dude. And like homosexual transvestite priests? Okay, I never thought I'd hear that word, but apparently that's the thing as well.
What is this, Warhammer? Go on.
Okay, the second one is the poem Inanna and Shukaletuda begins with a hymn to Inanna praising her as the planet Venus. It then introduces Shukalatuda, a gardener who is terrible at his job and partially blind. All of his plants die except for one poplar tree. Shukalatuda prays to the gods for guidance in his work. To his surprise, the goddess Inanna sees his one poplar tree and decides to rest under the shade of its branches. Shukalatuda removes her clothes and rapes Inanna while she sleeps. This is like the weirdest myth I've ever read. I think that's like... Because this is apparently a myth, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this has any, like, a moral, you know? Because stories usually have a moral, and so do myths. I don't think this has anything of sorts. Yeah. I mean, it gets better now, okay? Can I continue?
Okay.
The third one. Enkidu tears off the bull's right thigh and throws it in Ishtar's face, saying, "If I could lay my hands on you, it is this I should do to you, and lash your entrails to your side." You know, I always imagined Enkidu as some really cool guy who's just all about tranquility and stuff. Reading something like this, I'm just like, whoa, dude, chill there.
I mean,
you know, just...
he and Gil, at least in Fate, really hate Ishtar, so...
Yeah, but I mean, you know, just tearing off a bull's thigh casually and throwing it in someone's face. God, I mean, you know how big thighs bulls have? Like that's...
Yeah, they're big animals. So it's like with his bare hands.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's just like, Okay. And that's why he was killed as well, you know. Like it said that was like Ishtar got triggered over that and considered it too big an insult to God from a puppet, so they just, you know, turned him off.
I mean,
Rip.
like, if I were her, I'd be traumatized if someone just ripped the thighs
No,
off
no,
a
no,
bone through
no.
it.
If you were her, you'd be dead because you'd be hit by a bullseye in the face. That
Oh,
would
that's
most
true.
likely kill you.
My neck would snap backwards. Um, that reminds me though. Is Ereshkigal actually tied to Ishtar in mythology, or is that something thrown in Fate?
Like which mythology? I didn't hear you.
Is Ereshkigal actually tied to Ishtar in mythology?
Yeah, there's like their sister. Ereshkigal is Ishtar's older sister in
Okay.
mythology, and there's a myth where she murders her.
Oh,
Like, it was mentioned. Not sure if you played Babylonia. I suppose not. If you play JP, you probably don't understand. But there's a myth where Ishtar, Inanna Ishtar, descends to the underworld for whatever reason. It's basically some. It's said that officially she wants to attend her husband's funeral, but like supposedly she just wants to take over the underworld for her own because she has a lot of these exploits where she steals from other gods and basically tries to make her power greater. And she descends to the underworld, you know, and Reshkigal is like, no, you gotta pass through 7 gates. And at each gate, you need to take something off, you know? So at each gate, she takes something off, and then she's just naked in front of Ereshkigal, stripped of all her divinity, and Ereshkigal's like, cool, now we're gonna have a trial. And then there's a trial, and she's struck dead, you know?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's quite a story.
I guess the moral of that is don't be an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, she later gets, you know, rescued from the underworld, and she sends her husband there because he didn't morph for her. She basically is like, because Ereshkigal is like, okay, but somebody needs to come in Ishtar's place. So Ishtar is like, okay, my husband will come.
Wait, I thought she was attending her husband's funeral.
Ereshkigal's husband's funeral, you know? And,
okay.
Ishtar basically just sends her husband to the underworld, and the story continues, but like that's the gist of it.
The little bit of mythology I do know with Ishtar is that apparently, any man she has sex with, she eventually backstabs and then steals all of his possessions.
Not sure about the possession stealing thing, but yeah, definitely. Like Gil actually says this to her when she asks him out. I could find it on Wikipedia, but doubt. He says something along the lines of, "Yeah, basically, you're a femme fatale. I'm not gonna mess with you. I know that." And he names a bunch of examples of men that she basically killed or turned into animals and stuff like that after she had relationships with them.
Oh, I wonder why Nasu decided to use Ishtar as a basis for Rin's debut in Fate Grand Order.
What do I think about it, or something like that?
I'm just wondering, but like, do you have an idea why?
Or maybe because, you know, Ishtar is actually like really proactive in like the mythology. Like basically all the other gods are just like, yeah, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna do my stuff. And Ishtar is like, no, I'm gonna run around and put my head where I shouldn't, you know, and poke into everybody. Like she even like, you know, Enki was like the god of wisdom or something. He had like these mess, they're called, which like governed over principles of the entire world.
Yeah.
She basically got him drunk and stole them and ran off on her boat. Yeah, that's what she does.
It sounds more like a Looney Tunes cartoon than it does Fate, but
I told you that the Sumerian mythology and Mesopotamian mythology is just hella weird.
Yeah.
Okay, should I read out the fourth one? The fourth nitpick?
If you want to, my brain feels a bit fried, but please continue.
This is like super weird, okay? This is just like, okay.
Tags my
in
brain.
the Hittite creation myth, Ishtar is born after the god Kumarbi overthrows his father Anu. Kumarbi bites off Anu's genitals and swallows them, causing him to become pregnant with Anu's offspring, including Ishtar and her brother, the Hittite storm god Teshub.
What?
Yeah, he bites off his father's genitals and becomes pregnant. It's like
he?
Yeah, he. That's the thing.
How does it?
I don't know, dude. Ask them.
Man, I wish I could, but they're a few thousand years dead.
Yeah, no, dude. Like you know, you go into Greek mythology and it's all nicely sorted, you know, and poetic, and this is like, no, he just bites his father off. But I don't know, dude.
Well, I mean, like, even in Greek mythology, we have plenty of weird incest stuff, or like Athena literally popping out of Zeus's head. So, I don't think they had anything about chomping off someone's genitals and then becoming pregnant. I don't think they have anything about male pregnancy either.
Yeah, I don't know. These guys were just weird, okay? Like, I generally didn't think, but when I was reading this, I just laughed out so much. Like, I would just randomly go into these, like, laughter shocks because there was just something so funny.
So, what is the moral of this story? Don't bite off someone's dick?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. Mind broken. I seem to have lost all capabilities of speaking. Thank you for your time. We're ending this. So, I mean, to be honest, I don't actually have many more questions left. I mean, well, what's next in your shitposting career?
Dude, I don't know. I just do stuff at random. Like, right now, am I working on anything bigger? I'm writing an Erashkigal fanfic because that was something I promised to the people. So that's like the only thing I'm really working on, because people were complaining that Erashkigal didn't get enough screen time in Babylonia. So I was like, okay, I'll fix it. But I don't think anything too special I'm working.
So, out of completely scientific and objective curiosity, is this fanfic R18?
I was actually wondering about that myself, because I wrote the meme fanfic once, but that was like a solid meme. I basically took characters I didn't like, put them together in a fanfic, and just had them. I just made the most ridiculous story possible. I don't know how this one's gonna turn out, so I'll see that.
So
I was actually
go ahead.
Good. Like, actually, I tried to like work on like more Ilya memes. You know, I tried to pile up another season. I'm still trying. You know, just like Ilya memes season 3, yeah, boy. But you know, it's really hard to make lolly memes when all the NSFF lolly stuff is banned. So yeah, I'm kind of being held by that. I've made all the jokes possible, I think.
So, this meme fanfic, exactly what kind of characters are there?
I used Gil, Shiro, and Ray, and just like, you know, made the most, like, I basically made an alternative ending to Unlimited Blade Works, but it was just stupid, you know, it's just completely ridiculous.
Care to elaborate?
No.
Okay.
Go read it.
I mean, I would need a link.
I can send it to that. I can send that to you. It's just stupid, okay?
All right.
One of my friends said it was the best shit ever, but I think it's just really retarded.
I mean, sometimes there's no difference between being retarded and being genius. Wait, actually, there's a very big difference. But any final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners or readers?
Wow. I wonder. Like thoughts as in shoutouts, stuff like that? What do you mean by that?
Anything you want to say?
Well, anything I want to say. I I'd say Ereshkigal is better than Ishtar, but I think you'd stop me there, right? Right.
I mean, I might have, but I'm biased now because I have an MP2 Ishkigal from the same 10 roll, and I still don't have Ishtar, even though I spent real money. So it's all objective. I have no emotional resentment from Fate. Okay. I agree with you based on objective facts like hair or something like that.
Well, I guess follow my Twitter at TheFlintASteel. I repost all my memes there if you care for that. Like
Okay.
all the memes, even our Animemes. I still make some. I just don't make them often. Yeah.
Alright.
And anything else? I don't know. Check out some content creators. I wanted to shout out Froharocha, I think. You probably know him. He has a rainbow name on our Animemes. I think he still posts a lot. I enjoyed his memes back in it. And also Kayano, I believe. Not sure if his name is any longer. He also makes great content. Like, I think they're my favorite content creators right now.
Okay. Well,
Also,
yeah.
Subscribe to PewDiePie. Thank you.
Mm.
Yes.
God damn it.
I had to rub it in, you know.
And why is everyone suddenly saying subscribe to PewDiePie? Did he do something?
I don't know. He's just about to get overtaken, and it's a great meme.
Overtaken by who?
T-Series. You don't know. Like, basically, there's this Indian company channel that makes stuff for Bollywood and stuff. Basically, it's not a content creator, it's a company. And they're about to overtake him in subscribers.
How? Oh, I mean, India is a huge country, so, but...
Yeah.
But still, like, PewDiePie's a international YouTuber, so...
Yeah, no, it's really weird. Well, I don't know. I heard something about some auto-subbing, like YouTube automatically subs you or something if you're in India and you create a YouTube account. I don't know how much of that is true. I've just heard stuff.
I feel like that's basically the same as cheating, but...
yeah, I don't know.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Now,
Thank
I have
you
to...
too.
I have to wrap this up with the most important question that I've asked all of the... Well, I mean, I've only interviewed 2 other people, but all of the other people. I think we all know the answer, but I still gotta ask it. Who is your waifu, and why?
I wonder, who could it be?
Hmm.
You know, I think it's this, German aristocrat. I don't know if you know. She's of a famous lineage of homunculi, of the Einsburn family in particular. You know?
Okay, is this the legal Fates Tonight version or the Prismalia version?
I actually prefer the Heaven's Feel version the most, so 18.
Okay. Alright, well, on that not on that thought, we are wrapping this up. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.